Alright folks, buckle up because we're diving headfirst into the electrifying world of AC/DC's Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. You know the one, the song that blasts out of your speakers like a thunderbolt from down under, making you air guitar whether you're in a boardroom or a bathroom. Yeah, that riff. The one that sneaks into your brain and refuses to pay rent. Even if you're the type who swears you're more into smooth jazz or whale sounds, deep down, you've headbanged to this bad boy at least once. Admit it. No? Fine. Pretend you're too sophisticated, but by the end of this you'll be chanting "Done Dirt Cheap" like it's your new mantra. Picture this. It's the mid-70s. Australia is pumping out rock gods faster than a kangaroo on Red Bull, and AC/DC is just a bunch of scrappy lads with amps cranked to 11.
But Dirty Deeds?
Oh, that's the track that turned them from pub brawlers into global assassins of boredom. We're talking a song so catchy it's basically musical herpes. Once you catch it, it's with you for life. And today, I'm your cheeky tour guide through its twisted tale. I'll hit you with the gritty origins, the wild rides, the scandals that make your grandma clutch her pearls, and the legacy that's still shocking systems worldwide. Hang on tight. There might be a few mini cliffhangers along the way, like, what if this tune was inspired by a kid's cartoon? Spoiler, it was. But more on that in a sec. Let's kick off with the spark, the moment this beast was conceived. Back in 1976, the young brothers, Angus and Malcolm, were holed up with their wildman frontman Bon Scott, brainstorming riffs that could power a small city. Angus, that pint-sized powerhouse in the schoolboy shorts, was the one who dropped the bombshell title. And get this, it wasn't from some seedy back-alley deal or a late-night bender. Nope. It came from a freaking cartoon. Yeah, you heard that right. Beanie and Cecil, this 1960s animated gem about a boy and his sea serpent pal. There's this shady character, Dishonest John, slinking around with a business card that reads, "Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap." Angus watched it as a kid, probably munching on Vegemite toast, and bam, title locked in. What if Dishonest John sued for royalties? Imagine a cartoon villain taking on AC/DC in court. "Your Honor, they stole my slogan." The judge would just crank up the amp and rule in favor of rock and roll. But titles are one thing. Lyrics are where Bon Scott, that cheeky Scottish Aussie poet, turned it into pure gold. Bon weaves this tale of a hitman for hire, offering to off your boss, your ex, or that noisy neighbor for bargain basement prices. If you're having trouble with the high school head, he's giving you the blues. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. It's visceral. You can feel the grit under your nails, smell the cigarette smoke in a dingy phone booth. Bon's voice? Like gravel gargled with whiskey, urgent and smirking, like he's letting you in on the world's dirtiest secret. And the riff? Malcolm's chugging guitar is the engine, Angus's solos the lightning strikes. They wrote it fast, probably in a haze of beer and bravado, but it captured that raw blue-collar rebellion AC/DC was all about. Fun fact, the lyrics sneak in nods to their own hits, High Voltage and TNT, like an inside joke for fans. Self-roasting? Bon probably chuckled. Yeah, we're plugging our own stuff, done dirt cheap. Now imagine if Bon's Hitman was real. Hello, Dirty Deeds Inc. How can we sabotage your day? Explosives? Cyanide? Or just a really bad haircut? Absurd, right? But that's the magic. It's all tongue-in-cheek mayhem. No actual murders here, folks. Just musical manslaughter of mediocrity. Fast forward to the album. Yep, the whole shebang is named after the song Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, dropping like a sonic bomb on September 20th, 1976 in Australia and Europe. Produced by big brother George Young. Yeah, the Easy Beats guy, keeping it in the family. The sessions were pure chaos in Sydney's Albert Studios. Bon belting vocals while probably dodging hangovers, Angus shredding in his shorts, Malcolm laying down those unbreakable rhythms, Cliff Williams on bass, thumping like a heartbeat on steroids, and Phil Rudd drumming with the precision of a jackhammer. The album's got gems like Problem Child, where Bon confesses to being a delinquent, and Big Balls, which is basically a pun fest about fancy dances, but, you know, not really. Obscure trivia alert. On the title track, there's this backing vocal that's just heavy breathing. Like someone forgot to turn off the mic during a smoke break. Creepy or genius? You decide. But the release? Oh, that was Shenanigans City. In Australia, it flew off shelves, but Atlantic Records in the US, they sniffed at it like it was yesterday's socks. Too crude, too raw, they said. So it sat on the shelf stateside until 1981, riding the wave of Back in Black's mega success after Bon's tragic death. And get this, the tracklist got shuffled. Aussie's got Jailbreak and R.I.P. Rock in Peace, while the international version swapped in Rocker and Love at First Feel. Why? Who knows? Maybe the execs thought Jailbreak was too on the nose for a band that lived on the edge. What if they released it unchanged? Would American radio have exploded earlier? Or imploded from sheer voltage? Either way, when it finally hit the US, it shot to number 3 on the charts, proving rock waits for no one. Humor break. Imagine the Atlantic suits listening to Big Balls. This is about social events? Yeah, sure. And AC/DC is about knitting sweaters. Pun intended, they really dropped the ball on that delay. All right, cliffhanger time. What if this fun, cartoon-inspired jam sparked real-world scandals? Buckle up, because next we're hitting the rise to Mythic status, where controversies collide with culture in a mosh pit of madness. So, Dirty Deeds didn't just rock speakers, it rocked boats. Enter the controversies, starting with the phone number Fiasco. In the lyrics, Bon growls 36, 24, 36, describing ahem, a lady's measurements. But some geniuses heard it as a phone number, 362436, and started dialing like maniacs. Enter Norman and Marilyn White from Libertyville, Illinois, who had that exact number. Their phone blew up with crank calls. You do dirty deeds? How cheap? They sued AC/DC and Atlantic for $250,000 in 1981, claiming invasion of privacy. The band probably laughed it off. Bon wasn't listing a real Hitman hotline. The case got tossed, but imagine the absurdity. A rock song turning your landline into a prank central. What if the Whites turned it into a business? White's Dirty Deeds, we mow lawns, dirt cheap. Then there's the backmasking myths, the 80s moral panic where folks spun records backward hunting satanic whispers. AC/DC got dragged in, accused of hiding devilish messages in tracks like this one. Play Dirty Deeds reverse, and conspiracy nuts claimed you hear he's got the jack, or some nonsense about hell. Bon Scott clapped back hard. We're all good Catholic boys, the rest of the band. I was from a Presbyterian background myself. They debunked it as rubbish. If they wanted messages, they'd scream 'em forward. Satirical swipe. Imagine the band in a studio, meticulously crafting backward spells. Malcolm, make sure it says worship Satan in reverse. Nah, they were too busy worshipping riffs. The real devil. Boring music, but culture. Dirty Deeds rippled like a shockwave. It became the anthem for rebels everywhere, popping up in movies like Basketball and Bridesmaids, TV shows from The Simpsons to Supernatural, even video games. Covers? Joan Jett crushed it. Hayseed Dixie went bluegrass banjo wild. Ripple effects. It fueled the hair metal boom, inspired grunge grit, even snuck into politics. Remember when some poll used it without permission? Talk about Dirty Deeds. Obscure trivia. In 2014, when drummer Phil Rudd faced those dropped murder plot charges, downloads spiked. Irony much? The song about cheap hits boosting sales on a scandal. What if Bon saw its impact? He'd probably grin. See? We did it dirt cheap, and the world's still buzzing. Now, legacy and lasting weirdness. Dirty Deeds isn't just a song, it's a cultural lightning rod. The album's 6x platinum in the US, over 20 million worldwide, proving AC/DC's formula, simple stomping rock, outlives trends. Weirdness. Fans still debate the dirt cheap pricing. Is it a bargain or a threat? And that cover art, the seedy motel vibe? It's the Imperial 400 in LA, now a rock landmark. Lasting impact. It taught generations that rock can be fun, filthy and fierce without apology. In a world of auto-tuned pop, it's a reminder, keep it raw or go home. Humor aside, if AC/DC were a superhero team, Dirty Deeds is their bat signal, calling all misfits to crank it up and cause harmless havoc. All right, we've riffed through the chaos, the laughs, the legends. If this tale of Dirty Deeds done dirt cheap lit a fire under your ass, or at least made you smirk, smash that like button, subscribe for more rock deep dives, and drop a comment. What's your dirtiest deed involving AC/DC? Share this with a mate who needs a voltage boost. Until next time, keep it gritty, keep it urgent, and remember, in rock and roll, the best deeds are done with a wink and a riff. Thunderstruck. You should be. Peace out, or should I say deeds out.